Many of us experience doubts when it comes to the level of our competency. It gives us an idea that we are not good enough. We feel that we aren't as excellent or intelligent as others might think. That we don't deserve the spot, and that we feel as though at any moment they are going to find out that we are frauds or phonies. It often leads to perfectionism and the social context that can seriously affect your skill level, social status, and degree of expertise. That is imposter syndrome. This is something that is a reality today to most of us. You may feel like you are not enough no matter what effort you exert, and that you are undeserving of everything that you have worked for. Keeping your feelings for a long period of time might discourage you to work harder and push yourself to higher standards. This kind of pressure can eventually take a burden on your emotional well-being and also on your day-to-day life. Research says those who experience imposter syndrome are often well experts, and they may hold high office or have records of high academic degrees. Around 25 to 30% of high achievers may suffer from imposter syndrome, and around 70% of adults may experience it at least once in their lifetime. But what exactly is the main reason for imposter syndrome? Why do people most of the time experience it? Certain factors can contribute to the more general experience of having imposter syndrome. No matter what background, age, and gender you have, you might still experience it. Early family dynamics and gender stereotypes play an important role in imposter syndrome. Whether the areas of academic achievement or career success, a person can struggle with pressure and personal expectations. Imposter feelings represent a conflict between your self-perception and the way others recognize you. So, what triggers imposter syndrome? Giving attention to one's success can unleash feelings of imposter syndrome. This could happen when you receive an award, pass an exam, or whatever success you may have. Failure after a string of successes can also contribute to someone that may enable themselves to critique and end up questioning their overall performance. While others praise your skills and talents, you are busy writing off your successes as timing and luck. Your accomplishments don't make you stop whatever success you have now. You just consider them as nothing more than the outcome of your efforts to maintain the so-called illusion of your success. You might think that you don't earn any recognition. You just consider them as part of their sympathy or pity. And despite linking your accomplishments to chance, you take on all of the blame for any mistakes you make. Because of this, you may end up pressuring yourself to strive harder to make others recognize your shortcomings or failures, to become worthy of the roles you don't believe you deserve, and lastly, to make up for what you consider your lack of intelligence. Because of repeated feelings of insufficiency, a person struggling with imposter syndrome may develop other mental health issues. Negative feelings and attitudes could lead to anxiety, depression, or guilt that's related to imposter syndrome. Living in a constant fear of failures, you strive for perfection in everything you do. You might also feel guilty or worthless when you can't achieve your goals, not to mention burnt out and overwhelmed by your continued efforts. True imposter syndrome involves self-doubt, uncertainty with your talents and abilities, and a sense of unworthiness that doesn't align with what others think about you. In short, you may have thought that you have tricked others into believing you are something that you are not. Imposter syndrome can appear in different ways. Here are the different types of imposter syndrome. The first one is what we call the perfectionist. Perfectionists are never satisfied with what they do, and they always think that their work could do better. They set impractical expectations on themselves or others due to unusually high personal standards and an overactive inner critic. Rather than focusing on personal strengths, they tend to fixate on any flaws or mistakes that they could do. It often leads to a great deal of self-pressure and high amounts of anxiety. The second is the superhero. These individuals tend to feel that they aren't enough and that they feel pressured to push themselves to work as hard as possible. The third is the expert. These individuals always seek to learn more and are never satisfied with their level of intellect. Even though they are often highly skilled, they underestimate their capabilities. The fourth is the natural genius. These individuals set excessively lofty goals, and when they don't feel that they are going to succeed, they tend to break down at any moment. And lastly, the soloist. These individuals tend to be very individualistic and prefer to work alone. Self-worth often affects their productivity. That's why they don't often accept offers or assistance. For them, asking for help is a sign of weakness or incompetence. Overcoming imposter syndrome is quite challenging if you don't allow yourself to change your mindset about your capabilities. People should stay focused on measuring their success instead of thinking and comparing themselves to others. Similar to perfectionists, people with imposter syndrome often put a lot of pressure on themselves to complete every task without having a thought of failing. They think that any mistake will give others an idea that they are not good enough or smart enough for the job. They maintain this amount of pressure because they believe that without the discipline, they will not succeed. And instead of giving themselves credit, they are only anxious about the next task ahead. This routine can be hard to break, but part of doing so involves reminders that no one is perfect and that a person can only do their personal best. People with imposter syndrome also often feel that they are out of place. They would need to learn to acknowledge their excellence and accomplishments as one of the solutions, as is reminding themselves that they have earned the spot in their academic or professional environment. True success doesn't require perfection. Perfection is practically impossible. Failing to do so doesn't make you a fraud. Understanding yourself instead of judging yourself can lead you to keep a realistic perception and motivate you to pursue healthy self-growth. There are many ways to cope with imposter feelings. That's especially including questioning your negative thoughts, talking about what you're feeling, and avoiding comparing yourself to others. Remember, if you are feeling like you are having an imposter syndrome, try to turn that feeling into some appreciation. Look at what you have done in your life, full of accomplishments and gratitudes. Don't be held back by your fear. Let your guard down and let others see the real you.